Shalom Aleichem and welcome Baruchim Abbeim to Torah Talks, Chazaq's Tuesday night program with special guests. Tonight we have with us Rabbi Eliezer Blatt, all the way from Eretz HaKodesh, Eretz Yisrael. Shalom Aleichem, Rabbi. How you doing?
Welcome, Shalom. Good. I'm doing well. Thank you.
Baruch Hashem. Thank you, Hashem. Thank you very much for joining us on Torah Talks. Tonight we're going to be speaking about life is a series of presentations, which is going to be an exciting topic, especially for me on a personal level. You're going to hear why in a moment. But before we jump into tonight's exciting topic, Rabbi Blatt, if you give our audience a little bit more of a background about yourself and the great work you're involved with.
Okay. Well, my career started, I was a young singer, dancer, actor, loving being in front of crowds. I became a professional drummer. We were going to be an opening act for a major group. And then that didn't work out. And I went to college and I learned about television production. And then I started working for television shows, top television shows on that just like moved me right through. And then I decided to tap into my Jewish roots later in life when I was 29. And I came to Israel and I left my career as being groomed as a television director. And it fell into my lap. I started to work with a fellow who was into corporate public speaking. And I watched what he did, and he showed me what he did. And then after he left, I continued doing it. And after I was doing that for a while, before I knew it, I was flying around the world giving public speaking training to companies, to authors, to speakers. And that's it. This is the reason why I love my job, is I get to speak to people like you and the people all over the world and help them to raise their presentation skills, because it's one of the greatest skills you can have for your personal and your professional lives.
Baruch Hashem, amazing. And we just had the presentation at the Chazaq headquarters not so long ago. Rabbi Blatt was here in New York, and the feedback was amazing. It was 2 thumbs up. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to be around at the time, but the people that were there told me raving reviews. So that's going to be tonight's topic, which is life is a series of presentations. We're going to be talking about public speaking. But Rabbi, what does it mean that life is a series of presentations? How does that make sense? That life is how do you make sense of that?
So most people think that in order to be a good public speaker, or to be a public speaker, if you ask them, they need an audience. Yeah, they need people over there, a classroom, an audience. But the truth is, we have to define our terms. And public speaking to me is life as a series of presentations. Whether you're speaking to one or whether you're speaking to 1,000, you are on. We are constantly making presentations, but we don't think about that until now. Now you have to know. You wake up in the morning. If you're married, you're talking to your spouse, you're talking to your kids, you have a charusa, you're on the phone with people, you go to a store, you give them money, you get something back. We're making hundreds, if not thousands of presentations a day, depending on what you do. And if that's the case, we might as well learn how to do it better.
Wow. So I saw while the rabbi was telling about the presentation, the hands were moving and the hand was going like this. Is that part of public speaking and in general with speaking using the hands?
Well, I think using our hands is not part of public speaking. It's part of speaking in general. As human beings, we use our hands. So we're just replicating that when we speak to an audience. It's just more than one person. It's one person and one person and one person. It's just a series of a lot of different people. So if you're speaking to 500 people, you would do the same things you would do for one person, just bigger.
Amazing. Unbelievable. Tell me a little bit of experience on your end with regards to public speaking, something that went over very well, or maybe a blooper that might have happened one time, or some sort of experience that you might have had in the past, Rabbi.
A blooper.
It doesn't have to be. I'm saying an incident that you had a presentation or a one-on-one and it just went over very well, or a technique that you use that you could give over to the public.
Well, it's the whole course and the whole. Is a training, but one of the main things that a person needs is to have passion and energy when they speak. I mean, and that's the key thing. If you care about what you have to speak about, then that's going to get through to your audience. So that's one of the key things that I try to get over to my clients and my students, is that you need to be passionate and to feel that, wow, what an opportunity I have to give this over to my audience and make their life better in some way.
Amazing, amazing. So, Rabbi, we all know the famous, I guess, for lack of better words, joke that a person is at a levaya, at a funeral, and he's asked to speak. So many people, it's said that they rather be in the coffin as opposed to standing up there and speaking in front of an audience. There's a fear for public speaking. So in your opinion, what tips can one get to overcome this fear of speaking in public? We understand that life is a presentation, and sometimes you're speaking to your spouse, to your friends, to your coworkers. But when you're speaking in a large audience, I remember when I was young, I was just, Chazaq started, I was only about 15. So I was forcibly, I guess, for lack of a better word, like I wasn't ready for it. I was put up in front of crowds, big crowds. And I remember my heart was beating. Oh my gosh. Like you see, like if you watch the videos of when Chazaq just started and I would be doing opening remarks before a speaker would come up, I was so nervous. But Baruch Hashem, thing out today, I guess for practice makes perfect in a sense. I'm able to Baruch Hashem go up there and not be so fearful, not be scared. Baruch Hashem, we've had audiences of over 1,000, over 2,000 people even at big events. But what suggestions and tips could you give to the public with regards to public speaking and fear?
Yeah. So when it comes to fear, it's a natural fear that most people have when they speak in public. And the answer is you don't get rid of your fear. You learn how to channel it, how to move it into the right direction. So the first thing is, if someone is waiting for that fear to go away, it doesn't. Most speakers, entertainers, athletes have that fear, have that anxiety, and that's good. To have that, that's going to push you over the top. That's what makes people great. Someone who's going to have that anxiety knows how to use it, and that energy, that pushes them over the top. And they did studies to write a whole book on Olympic athletes and entertainers and speakers who use that energy and channel it, and you're not going to get rid of it. So that's a key. In fact, people who don't have any fear and there's no anxiety, they come in and it's just same old and they're too comfortable. That's actually not a good thing. When we used to make television shows, if we had an actor or an actress that was so comfortable in front of the camera, we would actually add tension on the set. We would drop a stage light on purpose. We'd bring in a crying baby. That was good for the actresses. And then we'd reshoot it, and 9 out of 10 times the scene would be better. Why? Because we added a little bit of tension on the set. It wasn't just smooth going. So you can see being a little anxious, not a frozen anxious, not the anxious or the fear that people are going to see, when your tongue cleaves to the top of your mouth, and things that you do with your hand and you're playing with yourself, those things, if the nervous energy is shown to the audience, that's not good. Because if you're nervous, the audience will be nervous. There's a relationship between you. But if you're nervous inside and channeling it and they don't see it, that's what we go for. So when people say, Eliezer, how do I get rid of the butterflies in my stomach? I tell them I'm not going to get rid of them. I'm going to show you how to have them fly in formation.
Amazing. Wow. So you're saying it's a positive. You're turning it into a good thing. Interesting. Very good.
Yeah. And one tool, I'll give you a tool that we share, because people say, well, how do I do that? How do I channel that? One thing is, most people are fearful. What are they going to think of me? What if I make a mistake? What if I don't look good? What if I'm not convincing for some reason? Oh, what are they going to think of me? There's a fear of that. So if you switch it around and say, wow, what an opportunity I have to give this over to my audience, it's off you. Right now, with all your viewers, I know, even though I might be anxious inside, about giving this over in the right way, I know that if they take this information and use it, that their lives are going to be better. And that propels me to get over that anxiousness.
Amazing. Wow. Very, very, very great tip. We really much appreciate it. And Rabbi Blatt, we have a minhag custom at the Chazaq Torah Talks. A final message for our broad audience that you could give over to us, a final takeaway. We appreciate all the tips you've given us so far.
So my final takeaway, I'm going to reiterate what I said in the beginning, and that has to do with you have to be passionate. You have to have energy and vitality in your talk and feel it. They asked the Chafetz Chaim a question. They said, the man tasted like anything you wanted it to taste like. So they asked him, Chafetz Chaim, what if you didn't have anything in mind? What would it taste like? And he answered, he said, it wouldn't taste like anything. And I want to bring that here. If you come to a talk or you're speaking to someone and you don't have anything behind it, you don't want to get them to jump into action or inspire them or educate them or inform them in some way, then nothing's going to happen. But if you come in and you want that to happen and you feel it, then it's going to happen. If you don't care about what you have to say to your audience, they won't care either.
What a powerful final message by Rabbi Eliezer Blatt. Amazing. We love the passion, and very, very important to take that not only in your speaking skills, but every single part of our lives. Like you just mentioned, the Chafetz Chaim and the Man, it's 100% true. If you don't think about anything, nothing, it's going to be given over to others as well. We want to thank you very, very much, Rabbi Blatt, for your time. It means so much to us. How does one contact the rabbi if there's a need, if anyone is interested with regards to potentially joining the rabbi for these public speaking courses?
Great. So I do one-on-ones, and I fly around the world doing this. I do Zoom sessions, and I could be reached at my email, eblatt, BLATT 6@gmail.com. Yeah, that's the best way to get in touch with me. And eblatt6@gmail.com. Yeah.
Okay. It's BLATT, just for the record. And we want to thank you once again. And we want to give a shout out to our dear friend, Yaakov Searle, who's the one that initiated and suggested Chazaq to have Rabbi Blatt on the Torah Talks. Thank you very much, Yaakov. And we want to thank all of our partners and all the different podcasts and platforms that are hosting our Chazaq Torah Talk podcasts. We want to thank Torah Anytime for hosting this as well. Dailygiving.org. $1 a day goes a very, very far way. We encourage all of our listeners to make sure to be part of it, part of the revolution. It's an amazing thing. It's really, really growing on a daily basis, and everybody should be part of this amazing mitzvah. And we want to thank everyone at Chazaq, all the great employees and workers behind the scenes that make the organization what it is. Baruch Hashem, spreading the light far and wide. Chazé Hashem, thank you, Hashem. And every single Tuesday night, Chazaq Torah Talks, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, chazaq.org/live, chazaq.org. Once again, thank you, Rabbi Blatt. We shall all see each other soon at Eretz HaKodesh with the Binyan Beis HaMikdash, with the rebuilding of the Holy Temple. It should be b'meira b'yameinu spilin our days.
Amen.
Amen.